Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome to another episode in this Quantum Conversation Summit series. This is energy healing and well-being. And today we are with a beautiful healer, Sophie Bidard, who is talking to us today about embracing and pioneering a new emotional paradigm. This is energy healing. Hi, Sophie. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Lauren. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me once again. I just love to be with you all. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
We love the work that you do and the people who participate in your courses and your healing sessions, webinars that are truly healing, absolutely have transformation in their lives. And this is the true definition of energy healing. And as we're talking about the emotions, wow, that's a huge one. Can you share what your definition is of energy healing and why emotions play a part in that or affect it?
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's take the flip side of it. Why emotions, right? Emotions. We can trace any issue starting with physical issue and health issues, as well as mental health issues, by the way, as well as life issues. But let's stick to our topic of healing and well-being. Any issue, any health issue, disease, injuries, symptoms, at the core, if you dig deep enough, at the core, it is always about emotions. Emotions that have been buried, repressed, suppressed, stuffed inside, not attended to, and that have built up into burdens, built up into something that we carry that we shouldn't carry, something that locates itself in our body, and through our body finds the way to get our attention, because what they want is to be freed and to be cleared. And how they get our attention through our body is by screaming through these symptoms, these injuries, these diseases. And so because at the root of any issue, here you find emotions. When we take care of emotions and take care of not only clearing our emotions, which is a big chunk, which I've been doing for so many years. That was the beginning of my healing work. That was let's say, the first level of my signature work. And then I grew into something else that we're going to talk about today. So clearing emotions, but also today, I want to talk about how we need to actually put in place a structure that allows us to have let's say, a healthy emotional lifestyle. But it's more than a lifestyle. It's have a healthy emotional structure that keeps us on the side of well-being is one thing, that we have less constant emotional clearing to do, because we can't just spend our life clearing our emotions. And we know at the time, especially at the times that we live, there are so many opportunities to be triggered, to get emotionally overwhelmed. Well, we could end up doing a full-time job of just attending our emotions, right? But we are also called to do other things, and we're here, especially as light workers, as star seeds, as those who are here to pioneer the new earth. We have other assignments, and especially that to activate and rise our light body. Well, what happens the more we receive light? We know that while this is a time of intensive, let's say, emotional intensity, it is also a time in which we are served with more light and higher light and more intense light. Well, what happens when our light body is rising, and if our emotional body is not in sync and not synergizing with the light body, then we have this discrepancy, which is just getting stronger and getting worse. And we end up doing so much effort rising our light body, and at the same time being pulled down and being sabotaged actually by our emotional body, which is not, if it is not optimized and in an optimal shape and with an optimal mode of operation. We're going to talk today about the emotional mode of operation. So does that answer your question? I took kind of a detour, but that's what I wanted to bring in regard to why emotions, right? So they are really at the core of our well-being, and so they are at the core of our healing as well.
Yes, and I love that part about how it synchronizes with the light body. So we have to be, I love this new paradigm, a new emotional paradigm that you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah.
So that we can rapidly move through it and
Yes.
instantly clear it. Is that what we're talking about? A fast way to just move it out instead of letting it trigger us.
Exactly. Letting it trigger us, letting it settle within, build
Mm.
up, and accumulate, create all these sorts of health issues, right? So
Mhm.
there are four foundations of, well, we can parallel the unhealthy emotional paradigm has four foundations. And if we flip it to the other side, the healthy emotional paradigm, which is the emotional paradigm of emotional mastery, right? Making us be emotional masters, also has the four foundations, which are on the higher vibrational way. So let me describe these four foundations of our old, outdated emotional paradigm, which probably many of our listeners are going to recognize themselves. And later in our conversation, Lauren, I'd love to offer a process to guide everyone to actually recognize how do you personally operate. So we're going to do that. So the four foundations of the old emotional paradigm are: number one, operating by emotional denial and suppression. So that's the tendency to deny our emotionality. Angry me, sad me, no, I'm not afraid, I'm not emotional, just stuffing inside, right? Denying, suppressing our emotions. We know about this. We all have practiced this. We are very practiced in this. And it is obviously very unhealthy because that's directly leading to stress in the body, mental stress, and directly leading to all sorts of health issues. So that's the number one, emotional denial and suppression. Number two of these four pillars is emotional resistance and control. So that can be some degree of allowing our emotions, but resisting them, not allowing them fully, and attempting to control them. So maybe a little bit of anger, or I'm a little bit sad, or I allow myself to embrace a little bit of my sadness, but not the whole of it. And what do I do with the rest? Back to the first pillar, I suppress it and I deny it. Now, what's the problem with resistance and control is that it takes a lot of energy. It is very energy consuming a lot of our energy, right? Which could be available for something else, something more constructive. So it is exhausting. And actually, we can only resist and we can actually only control to some extent. And we know that control at some point, there's just like when the dam breaks, right? And we can't control it anymore. And here we go, exploding, having overreacting emotionally when everything that we had contained, that we had controlled, we are just lashing out, and our emotions just pour out totally out of proportions. So that's definitely not healthy. Number three. Number three is an interesting one, is dramatic emotional expression. And that's a tricky one because we all heard and we've been invited to express our emotions, right? So maybe yell and scream our anger, or really have a good cry, or whatever it is that we do, and depending on the emotions that are involved. And yes, at the moment it gives us relief, right? But two issues that come along with this. One is that yes, at the moment it gives us relief, but actually the core of the emotion is still there. So it gives us instant relief, but after a few hours or maybe a couple days, the emotion, the root of the emotion is still there, so it's coming back again. So we didn't really take care of it. The other inconvenience of this, which is very significant in the way we want to operate on the new earth, is that as we dramatically express our emotions, so just letting them out, right, and expressing them, yes, dramatically, well, we bring pollution to our environments, we lash out at others, or we just throw our emotional substance onto others, and it ends up being toxic and being polluting to others. So we need to be more responsible and respectful of others as well, okay? So that's number three. Number four is what I call emotional laissez-faire. Laissez-faire, just letting the emotions just take us over, and oh, well, you know what, I'm emotional, that's the way I am, that's the way it is. And just allowing our emotions, no matter how exaggerated they may be, exaggerated if they are echoing emotions from the past, not just the emotion of the moment, but emotions from the past. So they are magnified. Just letting them take us over and drowning. We end up actually drowning in our emotionality, and it's taking us over, right? So these are the four foundations, the four pillars, we could say, of the old, outdated emotional paradigm that we want to upgrade. We are called to upgrade. I guess everyone can understand how these modes of operation do not support and cannot support our light body rising and more and more lightness and more brightness, right? We cannot, it's just like, it's a major mismatch. Okay, that makes sense so far, Lauren?
Yes, it absolutely does. And I am, when you were talking about the dramatic emotional expression, I'm looking at, I know we're all listening and looking back. And when we use the phrase making mountains out of molehills, that's what I tend to do, is I tend to get too emotional. And then in hindsight, I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't react that way. So yeah, really important for us to take a look at and pay attention to with responsibility. So it's interesting to see how we would flip this and upgrade it.
Exactly. Well, as we can, I guess we can recognize that these modes of operation, they are like programs. They are things that we individually and we as humanity, we've been doing this for so many years and so many lifetimes and so many generations, right? This is not something new. This is just the way humanity has been operating emotionally for such a long time. So it's become a program, right? It's a structure that is established within our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind is both where our emotions are stored and where our modes of operation, our programs are stored as well, right? So we need to uninstall these programs and bring the new programs, the programs of the new elevated and elevating emotional paradigm. So let me give you the highlights of the 4 foundations of the new emotional paradigm, which are an upgrade. It's, yeah, a major upgrade of each of these 4 foundations of the old. You have a correspondence to the 4 foundations of the new. So where there has been denial and suppression, we want awareness. We want to install awareness of our emotions, which means that at every moment, without having to do an effort to, oh, let me go inside and see what's going on with me emotionally, but that we have installed this program and trained ourselves to very naturally recognize when we get emotional and what emotions are present, just as we very naturally recognize when we are hungry or thirsty, right? So emotional awareness, which is so foundational because the emotional awareness is what allows us to release emotions, right? Until there is awareness, release cannot happen. So that's really the first pillar, and it is absolutely essential. The second pillar is the pillar of acceptance, and it answers, if you like, it's the upgrade of the old emotional mode of operation of resistance and control. So where we used to resist and control and push back or try to keep it to a certain measure, we need to accept. We need to accept our emotions. Oh, I'm angry, awareness. I am very angry. I'm in a rage right now. Okay? And to do so in a way that is very compassionate. Compassionate for ourselves, compassionate for the emotions, as opposed to hating our anger or feeling guilty, right? Or beating ourselves up because of those emotions. So this acceptance of our emotions it's not a basic acceptance like, oh, I accept it. It's not the laissez-faire that I talked about earlier. It's a responsible acceptance and a compassionate acceptance. And actually, when we do emotional work, I always include this phase of emotional acceptance, and I lead clients to actually very often verbalize when they have gained awareness of like a pile of emotions that they had no idea they were carrying, and verbalizing, I accept those emotions. Very simply, I accept doesn't mean that I'm gonna hold on to them. I just accept that they are there. There's an emotion, not just emotional, there's an energetic intensity that just, it's like a balloon that was inflated, but a balloon, not a light balloon, like a heavy, vibrating, energetically strong, screaming balloon that suddenly, with acceptance, the intensity comes down. So acceptance is our second pillar. Where we used to do dramatic expression of our emotions, now we're invited to fruitful interaction with our emotions. And that's very interesting. Fruitful interaction, having a dialogue with our emotions. Because you see, our emotions, they are here to guide us. They hold guidance, insights, messages for us. So once we have gained awareness of emotions and accepting them, then we can sit at the table, so to speak, with them and dialogue with them. We can dialogue with this fear and ask the fear, what does it want? What does it need? What is its message? What are its insights? And with that, we collect the wisdom of those emotions, right? So as opposed to the dramatic expression, which again doesn't resolve anything, brings possibly an instant relief, but brings no solution at all. Here, through the dialogue with the emotions, which is a dialogue which may be very instant when we train ourselves and we install the proper structures for that, right? We collect the wisdom of those emotions, and once they have delivered their wisdom, they are ready, the residue is ready to be cleared. So that's a very essential as well, very essential foundation pillar of our new emotional paradigm. And then we get to our fourth pillar, which is purification. That's what you are talking about, Lauren, the clearing, being able to clear, right? So instead of allowing laissez-faire, allowing ourselves to just swim or even drown in the emotionality, or letting the residue just be there and pile up and pollute us and pollute our environment, we need to systematically purify, clear the residue. So we need a structure for that as well, okay? So to wrap it up, awareness, the four foundations of our new upgraded emotional paradigm that is going to support and really synergize with our light body. Awareness, acceptance, fruitful interaction, and purification. When we have these four pillars in place, it's funny because a few minutes ago, before we started our conversation, Lauren, I had a metaphor that came to me, how it showed me how these four pillars, they form a structure, as I said, and it's like an elevator shaft, you know, this structure in which an elevator goes up, right? And you have four corners, and the elevator is within this shaft and is going up. Well, when we build this structure and install this program of our new emotional paradigm with awareness, acceptance, fruitful interaction, emotional interaction, and purification, we have our elevator shaft that allows us to rise and allows our emotional body to be in sync with our light body. And that's the purpose of installing a structure without having to attend to our emotions all the time, like babysitting our emotions, right? We need to have these programs installed and running in the background, if you will, so that we can be busy doing our light workers work, doing our missions, our assignment, and taking care of rising our light body, having our emotional modes of operation support and grow and take care of our emotions in this way that is rising us as we rise with our light body.
Thank you. I love that. And we can truly feel into it. And it's, you know, I like to always say that on this ascension journey, as we're upgrading everything, we're literally flipping everything. We're doing everything the opposite.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
powerful. So if we can catch ourselves in this emotion, if we can catch ourselves, then it's really good. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to do that process so that we can identify where we are each coming from? That would be beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're gonna do an emotional mode of operation checkup. So that's gonna happen in the orb of truth. So this is gonna allow you, each and every one, to identify your own emotional mode of operation, okay? So you're going to receive an orb of truth that will be placed around your aura. And within this safe, sacred space, you'll be prompted with questions to explore your emotional mode of operation. Is it a specific type? Is it a hybrid? And how does it support or hinder your connection to your higher self, especially your connection to the divine? Okay, so let's do this. You can close your eyes if you want, of course, if it is safe for you to do so, and turn your attention inwards. And I invite you to relax, take a few deep breaths. Let's bring all your attention, all your presence here and now. Remembering your connection to the center, to the heart of the earth, and your connection to the center, to the heart of the universe, so that you are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready, and open to receive. Now, as I tune into the galactic center, I call the orb of truth to be placed around your aura. And you can claim it now out loud, silently if you have to, but out loud, even better. I welcome and receive the orb of truth around my aura. And I'm offering this orb of truth, placing it around your aura, filling and bathing your aura with the highest, the purest vibration of truth, holding you safe, protected, informed in this truthful, high vibrational space. Allow any adjustments to this highest vibration of truth that needs to happen, that then just happen naturally within your body, your heart, your mind, your whole being held in truth. Now let's bring the questions to begin the exploration, the discovery, the revelation, proceeding to your emotional mode of operation checkup. So within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you tend to deny and suppress your emotions, burying them within. And do you tend to deny and suppress all unpleasant emotions or only specific ones? Anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, shame, despair. And do you tend to deny and suppress your emotions in specific contexts, specific situations, or in relation to specific people? And what else do you need to know about your denial and suppression of your emotions? And ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways denial and suppression of your emotions affect your connection to your higher self and to the divine. And breathe. within the orb of truth. Ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you tend to resist and control your emotions. And do you tend to resist and control all unpleasant emotions or only specific ones? Do you tend to resist and control your emotions in specific contexts and situations or in relation to specific people? And what else do you need to know about your resistance and control, resistance to and control of your emotions? And ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways resistance to and control of your emotions affect your connection to your higher self and to the divine. And breathe. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you tend to dramatically express your emotions. Do you tend to dramatically express all unpleasant emotions or only specific ones? Do you tend to dramatically express your emotions in specific contexts or situations or with specific people? And what else do you need to know about your dramatic expression of your emotions? And ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways dramatic expression of your emotions affects your connection to your higher self and to the divine. And breathe. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you tend to emotional laissez-faire, avoiding confrontation with your emotions, letting them hold you at their mercy without you having any authority over them. Allowing yourself to be overly emotional at all times or any time, and it's just the way it is. And do you tend to emotional laissez-faire with all unpleasant emotions or only specific ones? And is it in specific contexts, situations, or in relation with specific people? And what else do you need to know about your emotional laissez-faire? And ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways emotional laissez-faire affects your connection to your higher self and to the divine. And breathe. Within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you tend to emotional mastery with emotional awareness, acceptance, fruitful interaction, and purification. Do you tend to emotional mastery with all unpleasant emotions or only specific ones? And is it in specific contexts, situations, in relation to specific people? What else do you need to know about your emotional mastery? And ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent and in what ways emotional mastery affects your connection to your higher self and to the divine. And within the orb of truth, ask your higher self to allow you to perceive to what extent do you run a hybrid emotional mode of operation, combining all or some of emotional denial and suppression, resistance and control, dramatic expression, avoidance and laissez-faire, and emotional mastery. And what else do you need to know about your emotional mode of operation? And breathe. And coming back to here and now, take a moment to make mental notes of the awareness, the insights that you have gained, the status of your emotional mode of operation, whether it's a specific one or hybrid, and how it affects your connection to your higher self, your connection to the divine. And breathe. Well done. Well done for acknowledging all that came to the surface. It takes courage to face it. So well done for being willing to notice all you have noticed. Be open to more insights coming to your attention in the next few hours and days, as these questions may keep poking you. And we give gratitude to the orb of truth and allow it to remain and surround us and hold us in truth for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And we'll complete this emotional mode of operation checkup with a gift of a power claiming key. So as I offer it to you, it's a mantra of the heart that you're invited to adopt, make yours. As I offer it to you, I invite you to be in the receiving, being attentive to the responses you get in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your whole being. Here is your power claiming key. Even if I don't know how, I intend to upgrade my emotional paradigm for my highest good, my evolution in service to the highest good of all. And I ask to be guided and supported. Let me repeat it a couple times for you to really absorb it, even if I don't know how. I intend to upgrade my emotional paradigm for my highest good, my evolution in service to the divine and the highest good of all. And I ask to be guided and supported. And one more time, and you're welcome to join me and claim it for yourself. Everyone is muted, so feel free to claim it out loud, even if I don't know how.
Even
I
if I
intend,
don't know how.
yes, thank you, Lauren, for joining. I intend to upgrade my emotional paradigm
I intend to upgrade my emotional paradigm
for my highest good,
for my highest good,
my evolution,
my evolution,
and in service to the highest good of all.
and in service to the highest good of all.
And I ask to be guided and supported.
And I ask to be guided and supported.
That's right. And breathe. How does that feel? Feels good. I get shivers in my skull, claiming it, right? Because we
So
feel, you
beautiful.
know, I
Yes,
ask
I
to
got
be guided and
chills.
supported. That's your higher self is gonna guide and support you towards your intention. So that's how powerful it is. Yes.
That was quite extraordinary and very beautiful, Sophie, because
Thank
as
you.
we were doing that process and connecting with the higher self, it was clearly showing me, my higher self was clearly showing me all aspects and areas. And I found it interesting to do that. Let's call it an inventory of how we respond to our emotions.
Mhm.
Because what I learned was that with certain people, absolutely, yes, with certain people, I would say family members, people who know us really well, we tend to
Mhm.
feel like we have license to express those
Yeah.
unpleasant emotions. And so, and then also situations. And then it was very interesting. Some things like we're supposed to be beyond, like jealousy. It's interesting that that came up. It was like, wow, or competition, especially since I thought that I've overcome that or transcended it. So it was really insightful to do this practice and then to flip it like that with the guidance of our higher self was very supportive.
Yeah.
And I feel liberated in a way and very aware. So, yes, I can see why going through the next few hours or the days or the weeks, even, where
Mhm.
this will stick with us as we truly become the masters of our emotions.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
extraordinary. Wow.
And
Thank you.
we want to operate like naturally, organically, with awareness, acceptance, fruitful interaction, and purification. We want this to be our new normal, right? And we're not there yet. Maybe in some cases we're close to it, but uh, we want this to run so smoothly and so perfectly so that we can be busy doing what we're here to do, right? And we can rely on this upgraded and mature and responsible emotional mode of operation, right? We're not little children anymore. We're grown-up light workers and we need to keep growing up. And it's time to put ourselves in order emotionally and to have this structure that operates in such a way that it's healthy for us, it's healthy for our environment. We model it for others. We also demonstrate this new emotional mode of operation and we inspire others to get on board as well. And that's part of our mission as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, you've done some incredible work with everyone today. And actually, we thank everyone for participating in this because we can see the incredible shift and the way that things unfold in our life when we truly can master these emotions. And my assumption is that we won't really be able to do it like immediately all the time. It's like a muscle that we flex. The more we do it, the more aware we become. And that awareness is so huge in that role, because I think it's, 90 to 95% of the work. Then the rest of the work is really paying attention to those emotions that come up. So good work today. Excellent.
Well, yes, well done,
Yes.
everyone.
And here's the beautiful part is that you are offering a program for those who, if those loved the taste of this and the feel of it and the response of it within our own bodies, there's a beautiful program that you're offering that goes so much deeper into this. And it's beautiful time with you. Tell us about this. There's a wonderful package that people can scroll down on this webpage and see. Tell us about that, please.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm going to start with option 2. Option 2 is a 4-workshop series. So that is doing exactly that, what we have talked about. That is going to unroot the old emotional paradigm, the 4 pillars. So 4 workshops for the 4 pillars, right? The emotional denial and suppression. Workshop 1, we're going to clear the karmic entanglements of emotional denial and suppression and install the new program of emotional awareness. So workshop 1. Workshop 2, we clear the karmic entanglements of emotional resistance and control. And once that is done, we install emotional acceptance. Workshop 3, we clear the karmic entanglements of dramatic emotional expression, and we install fruitful emotional interaction. And workshop 4, we unroot emotional laissez-faire, and we install emotional purification. Now, what is so powerful, what I love about this package and this workshop series, it is so solid. Through the structure of this 4 pillars of the old that we unroot and install, we flip the coin and install the 4 pillars of the new. But also the way we are doing this by clearing karmic entanglements, why is this so powerful, is that in this work of clearing karmic entanglements, which really is now my signature work, we do clearings again at 4 levels. We clear at the level of the aura, so our aura, that's how those karmic entanglements of denial and suppression, resistance and control, and so on, how they affect us in this lifetime. So that's the first clearing that we do. Then we go even deeper and we clear in our past timeline, so our past lives, in our genealogical maternal line, and in our genealogical paternal lines. So we really dismantle this old program of, for example, emotional denial and suppression. We don't just brush it away a little bit. We unroot it in our present lifetime, in our past lives. How many lifetimes have we been denying and suppressing our emotions? In our genealogical lines, how many generations of our ancestors have been doing this? We dismantle all this. We collect the wisdom. There's wisdom that has been acquired or that has been missed, that is there for us to collect, to retrieve. And then we clear the residue, so we have a clear slate, clean slate, and there we install the new emotional mode of operation. So in the first workshop, we install awareness. In the second workshop, we install acceptance. in the third, we install this new way of fruitful interaction with our emotions, having a dialogue with our emotions. What does this fear want me to know? What does this fear want? What wisdom does this fear have for me? Once I gather the wisdom, I can clear the residue. And the purification in the fourth workshop. The purification is what is going to install this ongoing machine of clearing the residue without us having to, again, being busy. We won't have to be busy with our emotions all the time. Once we have adopted and installed this new structure, this new program, it's going to run in the background in our unconscious mind, and it's going to animate us. So we're going to get awareness of an emotion, accept it, dialogue with it, and clear the residue and go on. And with that, our emotional body really becomes the companion and the synergistic companion of our light body, because in our emotions there's so much wisdom and so much guidance. So it's coming to pair with our light body, and we're finally ready and equipped to keep growing in a healthy way and to keep moving forward. So that's what we're doing in option 2. Plus, not only we take care of the structure, but there's a bonus emotional detox protocol. That's 3 audios, a preparation, an emotional detox workshop, an hour and a half of emotional detox. And the third audio is invitation to forgiveness. And there's a PDF supporting you to do all this work. So you also have the resource to do emotional detox whenever, especially at the beginning of the program, or maybe a few times while you are installing your new structure. You may have burdens of old emotions buried, suppressed, that have gathered, that it's time to clear. You're going to do it in a safe way, being guided and supported. So that's going to be yours. So that's all of that is option 2. And in option 1, we have all that plus a private session with me, crystalline karmic liberation from old paradigm. So we come together, and together we go into with the unique guidance for you individually to dismantle the old paradigm. Now, what's interesting, Lorraine, is that we clear denial, we dismantle denial, suppression, control, resistance, and so on in regard to our emotions. But actually, our emotions are so central to our behaviors and to our being that we don't only clear denial, suppression, control in regard to emotions, but actually in regard to our whole way of being. So it's going to go it's going to impact our being much further than our emotionality, even though that's the focus of it. So option 1 includes the workshop series of 4 workshops, the bonus emotional detox protocol, and private session for those of you who want to work with me, to have my personal guidance and support, that we go into the depths and to especially collect pearls of wisdom. Tremendous wisdom is coming out of this session. So I'm happy to work individually, privately with all of those of you who want to do so.
Yes, and first of all, I thank you for this beautiful opportunity to do some heavy lifting on our emotions, to truly upgrade our emotional paradigm. It is, I mean, I can feel it and I can sense it. And we like to use that word mastery. It truly is mastery. And we are told by all the great teachers, even channeled messages, master your emotions. This is what allows us to do that. So it's a beautiful offering. I want to invite those who are interested to really consider personal time with Sophie. I've done personal time with Sophie, and I have to say, when you are it's really a connect, you help facilitate the connection with the higher self. And I love to say, if that's all we do is connect with our higher self or help people connect with their higher self, then we've done our job. because this is really
Exactly.
powerful in that
Yeah.
way. And the sessions with you absolutely allow for one to hear the higher self, to be guided by the higher self. So it really is remarkable. Sometimes we do hypnosis to meet the higher self, but a session with
Mm-hmm.
Sophie will allow you to meet your higher self, to hear your higher self, to be guided by your higher self. So it's well worth the opportunity to work with Sophie in that personal session. And of course, what we did today was just a little tidbit of the grander work that Sophie offers in this program. And we can see how supportive and beneficial it is. So we invite you to embark on this. You will come out of these 4 webinars refreshed, renewed, and a master. And our life will change.
Yes.
When we do this, everything else around us changes. When we are no longer
Mm-hmm.
triggered. And yes, there are people that we know who say, I'm no longer triggered. And we're all like, oh my goodness, how do you do that? And it's really important. So we will get there one day. And this will
Yeah.
just help us
Yeah.
accelerate it. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to say about working with you or this package?
Hmm. Well, I think we need to really take there's a notion of responsibility. The word has come through my mouth a couple of times during our conversation, Lauren, but that's what's coming back again now. I'm hearing like a little bell, like there's a calling to responsibility towards our light body, right? We all say we want and we work on our light body and everything, and we need to honor the responsibility we have towards our light body with equal responsibility with our emotionality and with our emotional body. And I think that's my closing word. How, yes, it's time. As I said, we're not little children anymore, little light worker, little children, and we need to rise to the occasion that yes, this is an intense emotional times. Do we just give up like, oh, it's the times, it's just the world is too much for me? Or do we rise to the occasions like grown-ups and do what
Yes.
it takes to take a stand and to be the level and the degree of the light workers that we are born to be? So this program really is meant to bring a critical piece of that and to step into this responsibility. So I invite you, all of you who are with whom this resonates and who feel like, yes, it's time to be responsible, let's do this. I'll be so happy to work with you. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren.
Oh, Sophie Bidard, thank you so much. Again, this is a whole level of mastery, and I love that
Mm,
word responsibility, and
yeah.
it's actually coming up in our face. I just want to share briefly, we can go to sacred sites on the planet and have this come up for us, but this is really beautiful work to do it without going to sacred sites. I just came back from Mount Shasta, and the
Mm,
energies of Mount Shasta were like a mirror where I
mm,
could see where I was emoting. And it was really taking a moment to pause. So it's almost like here we are. This work that you did just brought up the energies that we were immersed in. So this is just a really beneficial program for all of us to step into that mastery at an accelerated pace. So again, thank you.
yeah.
Again, I just want to say those who work with Sophie absolutely love her work. And there's intuitive reading calls. Stay tuned. You're going to get the emails on this. There's free
Mhm.
intuitive readings before each of these webinars. And those are so supportive in their own sense because you're going to get
Yeah.
additional insight. Did you want to add anything about those?
I love these. They are so insightful. And what I love with this combination of live intuitive readings before the workshop. So before each workshop, I'll be offering live intuitive readings that's going to support you in the workshop. And it's a perfect way to do collective group work through the workshop. I mean, personal, but in a collective settings through the workshops, but to get very individual. The readings, they are so profound, and people receiving the readings, they just say, oh, you've described everything so perfectly. Because what I do in the readings, I tune my higher self to their higher self, and I just get the words to speak what their higher self wants them to know. And so it really resonates, and it is such great value and such an empowerment into the workshop, right? It brings the workshop to a very personal, individual level. And I love what comes through the readings, and I love this combination. So I'll be delighted to meet you on those calls as well. There's going to be one live intuitive readings call before each workshop and supporting each workshop. So 4 calls that are not even included in the package. That's my gift to you. That's what I love to offer.
Again, it's a beautiful package and a wonderful opportunity for people to do this deep work, which is very subtle and gentle and loving and full of self-compassion. It just brings us closer to our higher self with loving compassion and non-judgmental observation. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely.
Sophie Bidard, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today and sharing this beautiful wisdom of light with all of us. You are a beautiful teacher, and we're so grateful. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.